I had some issues with the focus. So I decided to pick up a follow focus, and there's a tons of different follow focus. In most of the cases, I use wireless electronic follow focus, but previously in the old days, I've been using manual follow focuses as well. Since I don't want to spend a ton of money on this setup and I'm kind of is on a budget, I decided to pick up a manual one. And since I was on a budget, I also decided to pick up one of the cheapest one I could find on Amazon. And that happened to be one from Neewer. And it's going to be quite interesting to see how well this one is working. I have a Neewer display or a Neewer monitor, and I must say that monitor is okay. It's good for the money at least. So let's see how much of a follow focus we get for. I paid $38 for this. There might be some cheaper ones, but I kind of decided to, well, maybe not go for the absolute cheapest one. Package come with a ring gear. It's the flexible one, but it has a tension ring on the top, which is pretty nice when you're looking on these kinds of design. There's other options for that, and here we have the main thing, the follow focus. And by the first look on it, it feels pretty solid. The part that you put on the rod, it's made of aluminum. You tension it here, and you could also adjust it. So didn't really expect that for this price range. When you're pulling the focus, it's quite firm. There is a resistance in it, which I like. I don't want it to be all sloppy. The ring gear here is made of plastic though, but well, and the whole handle and everything is made of plastic. However, there is some markings. You could write with a whiteboard on it, so that's pretty nice. And this one is a single arm. That's also, there's two possibilities. You could have two arms that goes onto the rod in 2 points, and there's a single one. I choose the single one because that would work better with my rig over here, mainly because I have some vintage lenses and they are quite compact, so I have some issues with clearance. There is some other ring gears that you can choose between. There's one that you are actually mounting on the lens itself. I prefer those rather than these ones. These ones are just okay. You put it on like this. Let's see how this one feels on it. Sometimes it could be a little bit difficult to get some tensions in these ones. So, but I think I got it there, and then you just put it down and let's see. Well, it fits pretty good on it. A tricky thing is to get this one, the one thing that sticks up on the right position. However, some lenses that are more cinematic lenses, they might already have gears for the follow focus to travel in, which is to prefer. So when trying this out, I'm going to try it on both options to see how it feels. And I'm going to start off with the one that has the gear, because I think I'm going to have some clearance issues with my rig, with the vintage ones. So let's get it on. So at the moment I have a Samyang 35mm lens on it, and let's get the focus on. Okay, so now I got it pretty close to my handle, which is pretty nice, and it's in position, so I'm just going to tighten it down. Okay, it's not so comfortable with the handle. Maybe if I put the handle on the other side. I think for now that this is a good solution. Let's turn the camera on and see how it feels. I'm still not sure how I'm gonna hold it. I think some other grip similar to this one would be preferable. Well, it feels good. I must admit that it feels good. So this focus wheel from Neewer, that is one of the cheapest one you could get on eBay. It actually feels very good. Uh, I don't think I could actually complain on it. It does the job. The grip is firm and it feels good. It feels like you have control about what you're doing. So, some things to consider though is that how would this feel in 1 year from now? Will it still feel as good as it do today, or will it over time change in the way it feels? After all, it is a piece for $38. So I guess I have to come back with a review when I use this for a year or something like that. We're gonna do another test as well. I'm gonna use the gear that it came with to see how that feels. And I'm gonna use that on my Nikon lens. And the focus ring on this lens is quite loose. It moves really quick. And I never really liked that feeling on it. But I kind of think that that considering that the wheel here is quite firm, I think it will add some resistance to the whole system. And I already see now that I can't move this one further inward, so I need to swap it around on the other side. There is an issue with these ones and the old lenses because the throw on the focus is quite wide. So you need to find a position where the top of this ring is not interfering with the focus ring on the focus pole. Yeah, I already see now that I'm gonna have problems with this one because it's not gonna go all the way around. That's why the other kind of gear is preferred, that you screw on the lens, because then they are like tightened down evenly around the lens and there's nothing that sticks up. You could also cut a part of this one if you know that most of the lenses that you're using is on a certain diameter. There might be some material that you don't need. So there is ways to work around it. But let's start by see how it feels. Well, I must say that I'm quite impressed. Trying it on this lens, that when I focus this lens manually, it kind of feels like it's too loose. I want there to be more resistance in the focus ring, and by adding this follow focus, I kind of feel that it gets more firm. The firmness of the ring applies down to the lens, so it doesn't really matter how the lens actually feels. So for on this lens, this is definitely an improvement. What is my verdict then? Is it worth picking up this follow focus from Neewer for only $38, or should you buy something more expensive instead? Well, it is worth it. It just does a good job. It doesn't have that pro feeling to it, but it feels pretty good. I would say if you compare to the first follow focus that you picked up when all these DSLR things started to get a thing, when the people were starting to shoot videos with the DSLR. I'm especially thinking when the EOS 5D was the Mark II, when that one was new. I remember picking up a follow focus, and that was like you literally put like a belt around the lens, and that belt went into your follow focus. That worked like, yeah. It was like, and that was like a high-end stuff back then. And I remember that was a couple of $100. It was ridiculous. This one is $38 and it feels much better. It's fun how equipment getting more available and cheaper. This follow focus is definitely an example on that. I think the link will be in the description as well. For a small amount of money, it improves my rig quite a lot, so it's definitely worth it. If you want to see more photo related stuff, click here to see a playlist with more photo stuffs, and click here to subscribe. And also, if you don't want to miss out any of my films and videos and content, click that bell icon to get notifications every time I release a new video, which it does once a week. Thanks for watching, and I see you later.